You know, in 2009, there were two things that people would go on about. That is like some of the most disturbing shit. Don't watch it, avoid it. And that was Two Girls, One Cup and Human Centipede. Now, don't get your hopes up. We're not talking about the other one. Today we're talking about Human Centipede. I know. But calm down, all right? Put the pitchforks down. Relax. So this was a movie that came out and immediately it received a lot of critiques, lots of vomit, lots of what the fuck was that? And yeah, when I was younger back then,
back in my day, get off my lawn, you little shit.
So this movie is directed by Tom Six, and right from the get-go, the first scene that we get is a guy going out into the woods to take a big old shit. And immediately, with another guy in the car that's in front, gets out with a nice looking trench coat, I may add. Dr. Loomis would be impressed. Gets out of the car with a big ass gun, rifle, and walks in and shoots him. And I want to say there is no greater disrespect than you taking a peaceful shit, thinking about, what am I gonna do for the day? Oh, yeah, I could walk the dog. You know, peaceful. I always said that we find our best inner peace when we taking a shit. Am I wrong? And then you get someone behind you and they just shoot you. Disrespect, man. Disrespect. So they wander through the woods and come across a big house, and they proceed to knock the door and are immediately greeted by the German version of Hugh Hefner. Except, you know, the sadistic version. So the shit blocker himself invites them into his home, and immediately you can just tell this guy is off, this guy's a bit weird, the way he looks at them, the way he stares at them, the way, you know, everything about him is just off. And I believe the character's name is Dr. Hieter. Now this character is probably the most entertaining part of this movie. In my eyes, anyway. He's like a much more darker and more sinister and sicker version of John Kramer. And instead of calling for help like he said he would, he proceeds to drug them and tie them to a bed. He's definitely Hugh Hefner. He then proceeds to show them his plans, introduces himself like a gentleman that he is. I am Dr. Hieter. I am a qualified surgeon. And these are my plans. Aren't they lovely? So he shows them his sadistic plan to basically... Anybody who isn't familiar with this movie, this is gonna sound bizarre, but this is definitely part of the plot. This isn't just me, you know, throwing my own fantasies out there into the world. No, not for me. But yeah, so He shows them the plan that he plans to basically cut their knees out, whatever. So they're all down. And basically surgically attach their mouths to the person in front of them's ass, basically. And with the 3 people that he's kidnapped, including a young fella, a young Asian guy called Katsuro, I think the character's name is. And he wants to do it with 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, and have, face to ass. Then the one in the middle, face to ass. And the one in front, basically his experiment is that the guy in front poops. I swear this isn't my fantasy, honest to God. The guy in front poops, and he wants to see if the poop will pass through all 3 to the other 2 people behind him and come out the end. Yeah, that's the plot. Look, it's messed up, it sounds sadistic, it is those things, but I will give this, genuinely you do, because like you get scenes like where the 2 girls behind, Lindsay and Jenny, are like, holding hands and everything. It genuinely does give you that whole feeling of, God, I really want them to get out. I really, really do. And when opportunities come, you're like, yes, no. And they're rushed, I think. At least that's the experience I had watching this movie, is what I always felt like. I wanted these people to get out. But, there's certain scenes, though, that make you kind of get pissed off. Like, there's scenes where when you're drawing to the 3rd act, almost, where the guy in front, Katsuro, the Asian guy that's, part of this shitty experiment, like stabs Dr. Hieter in the leg, and stabs him again on the leg, and the Hieter falls down, and instead of taking the knife and going for the head or the throat, he just goes over and bites his neck. And then they try to proceed to go up these big swirly ass stairs. Why would you not get the knife, finish him right there on the spot? That's it, you'd be a home stretch. No. Instead, bites him, the bite obviously does not kill the guy, wakes up, and then chases them upstairs. Like, it's things like that that kind of pissed me off personally. I was like, come on. I get it. This is a movie. You want to make it stretch, entertaining. But in reality, if I'm in a situation like that, I'm going for blood. You ain't breathing if I get a hold of you, if I'm in that shit situation. Not a chance am I just gonna go over and bite. Like, I get the metaphor, bites him like a dog because, they're his pet, whatever, as he calls it. But come on, be realistic. If you're gonna go for realism, I mean, like, they did go for realism because the director of this movie went to a qualified surgeon and went and found out the exact procedures, the real, what way to really do it. So he was going for realism. Why would you not go the full fucking route? That's all I'm saying. I'm ranting on about it, but I'll just say, maybe it's a nitpick, but it annoyed me. But like I said, one of the most terrifying lines and most sinister, in my opinion, in this movie that genuinely made me think, oh, that's rough, is one of the girls, I can't remember which one, forgive me, it could be Jenny, no, maybe the other one, Lindsay, either way, I think it's Lindsay, might be Lindsay, someone that's gonna comment, no, it was Jenny. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure it was Lindsay, but she escapes and she makes a run for it, awesome. You want to see that shit before the experiment happens, before he can get on with the surgery. And she falls into a pool. And what I loved about, I loved about Dr. Hieter, he's so entertaining to watch. The actor who plays him has just done such an amazing job with it. Like, he embodied the role. You know, I did read that the actor who played Dr. Hieter stayed in character, like, throughout the entire filming of the movie and stayed away from the cast intentionally. You know? So, he was clearly committed to the role, and it shows. And that's awesome. But he says a line to her, and he says, you know, I'm gonna make you the middle piece. And that's like, oh, dude, I would take death. I'd be like, no, fuck that, just kill me. Let me drown in here, shoot me, you're pointing that gun at me for at least 10 minutes and you haven't pulled the trigger. Finish me off. Anything but that. But, it's a sinister sign. Or not science, a sinister thing to say to someone. It's like, damn, and he actually does it. He follows through with it. And that makes it even more fucked up, is he actually did it. But yeah, like, scenes like seeing these people like all like stuck together and whatever, and they're all like in a cage, like an actual dog cage. I read it up, it was actually a dog cage. And they're screaming just like a dog would be in a cage, barking inside a cage. It's the same, like, you know, symbolisms. And you're like, this is horrific to watch. So I can genuinely understand why this was a hard watch for people back then. You know, I could understand why there were reports of many people leaving the theater out of pure sickness and disgust. You know, so I do get it. And there were actresses that before the actresses that were cast as Lindsay and Jenny, all of the auditions before those actresses were cast, all the actresses that we heard that came to audition just walked out in disgust. You know, so that gives you an idea, like, that says enough. Oh man, but whenever I was a kid, I never probably watched this movie. I saw bits of it while it was on like live TV. I would sit and like, oh, what's that? And then I would, okay, and then I would go. And so I remember bits and pieces of it, but for the first time I sat down, like, last week or so, to properly watch this. And I genuinely think I'm in the minority here. I kind of enjoyed it. Now, there's going to be people out there watching this thinking, you what? You know, but yeah, I genuinely enjoyed the fact that it's an original idea. Nowadays in movies, especially horror, originality is a rarity. But this came out in 2009, so this was like awesome. This came out at a time where there wasn't really anything like this. And I get it, this is a movie that only people with really strong stomachs can enjoy. And I appreciate that, and I get it. Totally get it. Nobody should have to force themselves to do this movie if they have like a weak stomach, or, you know, if they're easily, you know, made to feel sick. Don't put yourself through that. If that's your predicament, don't watch it, because it will make you sick. Personally, I went in thinking it was going to be worse, but for me, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting, in my head came up with worse in my imagination than what I saw on screen. But that's just me. But yeah, it's truly an interesting experience. But if you have a strong stomach and you love horror, I say give it a try. Seriously, just sit in a room on your own, give it a try, go in with an open mind, and I think you will enjoy it. I really do. Now, like I said, there are nitpicks about the movie. You know, I've already named them. You know, sometimes there's cringy dialogue, like in the beginning, whenever the Lindsay and Jenny are running through the forest, you know, when it's pissing rain, and the dialogue is just a bit cringe, you know. And then there's a scene where, like, one of the girls stopped and said, "I'm not moving." In the pissing rain. You're like, oh, like, come on. You know, it kind of gives elements of dark humor in this movie, like, you know. But yeah, for me, I would recommend it. But like I said, if you have a weak stomach, don't watch it, don't risk it. But if you do, absolutely give it a try. If you have a strong stomach, there is entertainment to be given. Like I said, Dr. Hieter, one of the best villains I think I've ever seen in a horror movie. You know, like there's scenes where he's climbing up the spiral stairs after getting stabbed in the leg, and there's like blood dripping out, and he just proceeds to lick the blood, which I may add was a scene improvised by the actor on the spot. So that gives you an idea of how committed this guy was to the role, and he gave everything. You know, great actor. And you know, unfortunately, the guy's gone now, so rest in peace, dude. But he gave an amazing performance throughout this movie. Dr. Hieter, what a great name. So, what would be my favorite scene? My favorite scene in this movie is probably... God. I'm trying to think of intensity, right? I'm trying to think of a scene that genuinely had me, that's memorable for me. Probably the most powerful scene is whenever we're in the third act. There's two police officers, detectives, running in to try and find them. All shit's breaking loose. They're trying to get away. Dr. Hieter's crawling. He's blood. He's got a knife and everything. But it's a very powerful scene when the Asian character, Katsuro, basically gives this speech of how I'm a disappointment to my... But it's about 50-50, but it's about 70% English, 40% of it is like subtitle. But that's okay. If you can get past that, that's totally awesome. That's great. For me, it doesn't affect anything at all, but he proceeds with that speech, emotional, crying, great acting by the actor himself, awesome. And then he proceeds to unalive himself with a piece of like broken glass. And it's such a heartbreaking scene, and it's really emotional. It's like I said, this movie is, if people gave it a chance, there's genuine raw emotion in this movie, and the actors, because people don't want to watch it because it's disgusting and all, they're not been able to show, like, I gave my all in this movie in terms of acting, you know, nobody's watching, you know, so it's worth watching for all the actresses involved. It's totally worth it, just to see their amazing performance. So how the movie ends, spoilers, but it ends with the doctor eventually getting shot. And of course he takes the two detectives with him. So they're all gone. And so the Asian character, Katsuro, is no longer, you know, alive. The girl in the middle is still alive, and the one behind her also passes away due to like infection and, you know, so she wasn't killed, but it was the infection, or she got infected, and unfortunately she passed away. So it ends with the only character still alive is the girl in the middle, and she's attached to two corpses. It's really sadistic, and what a way to end the movie. Like the camera just pans up from that shot of her crying, and then it just goes to credit. It's so powerful, and it's eerie, and it's just like, it's unforgettable. It's one of those experiences you don't walk away and forget in a hurry, you know, and I think that's what they were going for. They wanted something original, something haunting. And sometimes in horror movies these days, it's hard to find a horror movie that's haunting, that sticks with you. And I think this genuinely is one of them. So, great performances, if you can get past the weirdness, and like I said, there is a bit of humor, like there's a scene where he's about to shoot the lady or the girl in the pool, and the power goes out, and the whole place goes black. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "What the fuck?" And because he's German, he walks away and he's like swearing in German. He's like, "Scheiße!" It sort of makes you laugh. And then it goes back to the suspense and the tensity. So it's good balance. They do a good job of balancing it. So anyway, totally recommend it. If you haven't watched this movie, give it a chance. I honestly think it should be given a chance. It's way too overhated in my eyes. I could be in the minority. Fine. But I'm sticking to my guns. You know, I think it should be given a chance, and I'm glad I watched it. And the fact that it spawned 2 sequels, which baffles me. You know, I have not seen the second movie. I'm gonna watch it probably tomorrow. And then I'm gonna review that, and then I'm gonna watch the third one, review it, and maybe do a ranking video for shits and giggles. So yeah, thank you for watching. I wholeheartedly appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you. Yeah. And yeah. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you don't like it, you can always unsub. Yeah. Anyway, seriously, but thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Love every one of you. And well, you know the score. Don't kill anyone.